everybody? So today I am making a video on the top 10 Halloween animatronics of the decade so far. Now this video will not contain any 2024 animatronics. A, I don't think any of them make the cut, and B, well, not all, maybe a couple of them. You haven't seen my opinions of Party City, but just because not every one of them are out. So yeah, we still have Spirit. There's probably going to be more Home Depot ones, more Party City probably, and yeah. So yeah, this list will only contain props from Home Depot, Lowe's, Party City, and Spirit, even though Lowe's doesn't have anything anyways on this list. So really it only contains Party City, Home Depot, and Spirit. So yeah. With that being said, let's get into the top list. Starting with number 10, which is the Caretaker. Now, this is not a very popular prop. In fact, a lot of people dislike this guy, but I personally love the Caretaker. In fact, he's one of my favorite animatronics for Spirit Halloween 2021, obviously, because, he's in the top 10 of the decade so far. Also, yeah, I know it's early to do a top 10 animatronics of the decade, which is why I said so far. I'll remake this video in 2030. Props like Caretaker will probably be nowhere near the list. Considering he's number 10 right now, I doubt he'll be number 10. I doubt he'll still be on this list. Even this year, he'll probably fall off the list. Especially considering seeing what Party City has. Just gonna say a little spoilery from my opinion. I really like that lineup. And yeah, but I just love the Caretaker. I think he's very underrated. Let's move on to number 9, which is Krampus. Now Krampus, this guy is really cool. And I think that I own him. He's really cool. I own pretty much all Spirit props on this list, I think. I'm not sure, but yeah. I just really like Krampus. Ever since he came out, I've been in love with him. So yeah. I know he's licensed, which I think he's the only licensed on the list, but he might not be. So yeah. I almost forget that he is licensed just because, yeah, it's not like an iconic movie or anything. It came out 10 years ago. But yeah, let's move on to number 8, which is Inferno Reaper. Now, this is not only the first Home Depot prop, but also the first the first prop that I don't own. But next year or 2022 with the Red Reaper. This guy's from 2022. 21. Krampus 2020, and this guy 2021. I do not own this guy. But yeah. But I just really like him. I thought he was kind of underrated. No one really talks about him. Everyone just talks about the Red Reaper. 8-foot Red Reaper from 2022. I like this guy better. He fits a Reaper better. And yeah, he fits. When I think of Reaper imagery, this is the kind of thing I think of. So yeah. But yeah, not much else to say. Let's move on to number 7, which is Spirit Halloween 2021 Grim. Now, I have gone over many times why this guy is so cool. The fact that he's a skeleton animatronic that doesn't have black in between the ribs, that has so many movements. The eye movement, the mouth movement. Actually, yeah, I think his eyes do move. The mouth movement, all the hand movement, the servo. Look at the video. Look at all the animations this guy has. I don't know, you've probably seen this video 100 times. Whatever.
Ah, you look like death warmed over, my friend. This is good. Soon there will be enough of us. and we will terrorize the living until we own this night. Are you with me? Halloween is ours!
Yeah, they changed the phrase to instead of tonight is ours, they said Halloween is ours. But yeah. But overall, he's just a really cool prop. And I'm so glad that I own this guy. I'm so glad that I bought him in 2022. So that it would have been cool to have, the old phrase where it says tonight is ours. But I bought him in 2022. Got the phrase. So yeah. But anyways, let's move on to number 6, which is Lord Raven. Now, I just love this guy. I'm so glad I own him. Halloween 2022. Yeah, his clothing is very cheap. It looks like it even fell off a little bit in this photo. Well, would you look at that? That might not be his clothing, but it'd be really funny if it was. His clothing's even see-through. Yeah, his clothing is very cheap. But I still really like him. In case you're wondering, his clothing literally turns into powder. First of all, after a summer of being left out in storage for me, his clothing just decayed. And when you pick it up and rub it after it's being like decayed kinda, it literally turns into powder. Yeah. But I still really like this guy. I loved it. And, he's just, like, I love this guy. He is so underrated. Like, I cannot believe how underrated Baphomet is. And, yeah, he's just really cool, and I'm so glad I own this guy. So, yeah. Let's move on to number 4, which is Lethal Lily. Now, Lethal Lily is just so cool. She's also a servo. This is Home Depot 2023. So this is the most recent prop on the list so far. There will be another 2023 prop later on. I think there's a couple, maybe not. I don't know. But again, I've gone over many times why I love Lethal Lily. And I think that she's a really almost underrated. Like, she kind of got outshined by THD 3000, aka Cold Hate, and I just think she's better. That's just kind of a hot take, but not really. I know a lot of people will love this, but again, I feel like she's kind of underrated. Like, no one really talks about her, even though I think she's awesome. But yeah, let's move on to number 3, which is Darling Dolly. Now, Darling Dolly, everyone loves Darling Dolly. Well, except for a couple people. But I just love Darling Dolly so much. This is also Spirit Halloween 2023. I think there's one more from 2023 on this list. Yeah. Darling Dolly is just so cool. And I think everyone knows that. I'm so glad I own her. I know I haven't posted a demo on the channel. Know why that is? I haven't even set her up. But the model that my Darling Dolly has been on the channel. It's my, I'll put it on the screen. It's a couple store tours of mine. I'll put one of them on the screen, right now. So yeah. But yeah, I love her. Okay, can I just point out how little Daisy and the Maestro is still on the website? Oh my god. Okay, but actually moving on to number 2. Harvester of Souls. I think everyone loves Harvester of Souls. Like, the minute I saw Harvester of Souls, I just was like, oh my god, that's like one of the best animatronics ever. And in fact, he is very high on my top 10 animatronics of all time list, and was number 1 on my top 10 of the decade list for a very long time, until a recent prop. But we'll get into that in a minute. But Harvester of Souls, I think we all know why everyone loves Harvester of Souls. There's nothing even more to be said. But let's move on to number 1, which is... Psych! We're going to do some honorable mentions. So honorable mention number 2, and the reason I'm saying number 2 first... Yeah, the reason I'm putting is because, you know how we do top 10 from 10 to 1? Yeah, so I might as well do honorable mentions in order of how I like them. But I just think this guy's very cool. I know they did a new one this year, but it's like a teddy bear and a skill crane. You'll see my thoughts on that in a different video. But I just really like this guy. Let's move on to honorable mention number 1, which is Strawman. Spirit Halloween 2022 Strawman. I forgot to mention that Harvester of Souls is Spirit Halloween 2020, and the Popcorn Clown was Party City 2022. The only Party City prop to make the list, and it's not even in the top 10. So really, this was just a Spirit and Home Depot list, and yes, that is kind of a spoiler for number 1. But Strawman, we all know, is very cool, and I think we all know why everyone likes him. I own this guy, like I do with pretty much every prop on this list. I don't own Popcorn Clown. He's almost a prop I would consider top 10, but the fact that he's not top 10 just shows how many great animatronics we've had this decade. But yeah, let's move on to number 1, which is the Cauldroness. And you might be thinking, oh, I thought it would be Creepy Rising Doll. Yeah, but she's from 2015. So yeah. But the Cauldroness, I own her. She's awesome. Let's just play the video. Just show how awesome she is.
And a dash of the smell of death, and up will rise the demon's breath.
Just watching that video again made me excited to pull her out of storage and activate her again, because she is just so awesome. As End of the Road Haunts would say, it's peak. Peak Spirit Halloween 2023. It's literally peak Spirit Halloween 2023. It's peak Spirit Halloween of the decade. It's peak animatronic of the decade. Heck, it's probably peak in the past, 8 years. So, yeah. But anyways, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure to leave a thumbs up. And subscribe to the channel with notifications on, that way you never miss a video if you haven't already. And leave a comment. So yeah. Anyways, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.